Good evening and welcome. The Department of Arts and Humanities on the West Campus proudly welcomes you to the second virtual Latin American Symposium. We are here tonight to learn a little bit more about Latin America, and we would like to thank you for taking time off your busy schedules and connect with us tonight. I would also like to say thank you to our guest professor for the evening, Professor Nadia Garzon. She's a professor of Latin American Humanities on East Campus. The participants tonight are Chiara Montalvo, Marisa Roberts, Rosalie Guillemi, and Tiffany Skoll. These are four great presentations, and they were students of Professor Aida Diaz on the West Campus. To again, thank you for your hard work. Now the question is, why are we here? Why a Latin American Symposium? And why is it important for us to learn a little bit more about each other? I really think that not only is a way to celebrate the Hispanic Heritage Month, but after all we have been through, after all this time that it has been full of uncertainty, I think that more than ever, we have understood that we are on this together. And that the more we separate the group of, Hispanics and non-Hispanics, I think that we are not going to be able to achieve what we need to, and is to be a community, to learn from each other, to not be afraid of the uncertainty, to not be afraid of what we don't know. So why are we here? Because we love learning, and because we want to learn from each other, and we want to learn about other cultures and other ways of thinking and ways of life. Why is this important? Because we are walking this world together, and the more we learn from each other, the more and the stronger, the more educated we will be, and the stronger we will be as a community. So again, thanks for connecting. Enjoy. Buenas noches y bienvenidos. Bienvenidos a este evento que se ha convertido en un clásico del Departamento de Artes y Humanidades en el Campus del Oeste. Quiero darle las gracias por tomar de su tiempo y conectarse esta noche con nosotros. Gracias por estar con nosotros. Quiero darle las gracias a la profesora Nadia Garzón. Ella enseña la clase de Humanidades de Latinoamérica en el Campus Este. También quiero agradecerle a los participantes, Chiara Montalvo, Marisa Roberts, Rosalie Guillemi y Tiffany Skoll. Estos son 4 estudiantes que estuvieron en la clase de Aida Díaz del Campus Oeste. ¿Por qué este simposio? ¿Por qué Latinoamérica? ¿Y por qué estamos aquí? Creo firmemente que después de todo este tiempo de dificultad que hemos tenido por la pandemia, más que nunca debemos estar unidos como una comunidad. Y sabemos que tenemos que aprender de cada uno y que la separación de las comunidades no es bueno. Tenemos que sobrevivir todas las cosas que este mundo nos exige y debemos dejar atrás el miedo de conocer otra cultura diferente. Es increíblemente maravilloso aprender diferente música, de diferentes comidas y de la manera que tienen diferentes personas de vivir esta vida. Gracias por estar aquí. Disfruten.
This is my presentation on Panamanian food. How did Panamanian food originate? Panamanian food is a mix of a lot of different cultures, mostly with Spanish influence and some Afro-Caribbean inspiration. This is sancocho de gallina, which is chicken stew. My grandma makes sancocho when it's cold out or if I'm feeling a bit under the weather. But she's Dominican, so there's some of the Caribbean influence. These are some Panamanian specialties. Ceviche, raw fish or seafood marinated in lime juice, onions, and peppers, originated in Peru and Ecuador. Patacones de plátano are twice fried plantain cakes served with most meals. And they are basically tostones, and they originated in Puerto Rico. Tamales are sweet or savory maize dough steamed and wrapped in banana leaves, and they originated in Mesoamerica and spread to Mexico, Guatemala, and the rest of Latin America. Empanadas, which are turnovers filled with meat, chicken, or cheese, originated in Spain. Yuca frita is fried yuca, and it's served with most meals like patacones de plátano. And those originated in South and Central America and the Caribbean. Ropa vieja is shredded beef with rice and beans, and it originated in Spain. Drinking age in Panama is 18, so the last two are drinks. Chicha fuerte is a maize-based potent alcoholic spirit, more popular in the countryside. And romponche is milk, vanilla, and rum-based cocktail. It's kind of like coquito, which is Puerto Rican. A typical breakfast, lunch, and dinner would consist of hojaldras, which is fried simple sweet dough. Well, not sweet, sorry. Tortillas de maíz con queso fresco, which is a corn tortilla with locally made white cheese. And bollos, which are basically tamales. They're corn dough rolled in banana leaf and boiled. For lunch, they might have sancocho, which I explained before, arroz con pollo, which is rice with chicken and gandules, or plato típico, which is just white rice, red beans, fried yellow plantains, potato salad, and roasted chicken. For a snack or a dessert, they might have raspado, which is a snow cone with local fruit flavors and condensed milk poured over it, or orejitas, which means little ears, and they are sweet and buttery like cookies. For Panamanian snacks and candy, they have plantain chips. They have like access to normal, quote unquote, normal North American snacks, and they make bolitas de tamarindo, which are tamarind balls covered in sugar, and huevitos de leche are milk eggs, and they're one of the most popular candies in Panama. And that's all.
Hi, my name is Tiffany Scholl, and today I'm doing my presentation on the Ecuador Traditions. And this is their flag seen right here. So New Year's Day in Ecuador is also called Nuevo Año. And so in Ecuador, they celebrate New Year by pulling behind the bad things from the past. So basically, dummy bodies are built that symbolize political figures. And they're dressed in old clothing and they are burnt as a symbol of moving on to better things. In the US, we have the iconic New York Times Square ball dropping, and that's kind of our tradition with fireworks and getting together to watch that. All right. So Easter, some similarities in Easter is that both Americans and Ecuadorians typically do a religious church service. However, one of the things that I found that were different was they have a famous Finasca soup, and you can see the ingredients listed right here. So it consists of hard-boiled eggs, salted cod, empanadas, and ripe plantains. So up in the top right, you will see the soup. And then so for Americans, we have like Easter egg hunts and kids get together and participate in local parades as well. So some of the foods that we have on this specific holiday would be ham, lamb, veggies, and biscuits. So that's like your basic setup there. All right, so Labor Day is also known as Dia de Trabajo. Ecuadorians enjoy a day off and participate in typical parades and festivals to honor the laborers of the country. So that's super similar to us. Nothing out of the ordinary there. And lastly, I got Dia de Muertos. So Though modern day practices include simply taking flowers to graveyards, this is a very interesting one, to celebrate loved ones who passed. They actually have food that is prepared that furthers their journey into the afterlife. So they have like a certain type of drink. It's called a colada morada. It was just very interesting how they celebrate the loved ones who have passed away. And this is actually a day for them, and this is the name of it. All right. Thank you so much, guys. Adios.
Juan Luis Guerra, musician of the Dominican Republic, by Rosalie Guijami. Juan Luis Guerra Cijas, more commonly known as Juan Luis Guerra, is an internationally recognized Latin artist credited for his merengue and for making bachata music popular. Guerra's band name is 440, 4.40. This is the term in music referred to as the standard pitch of A440, meaning in tune. Juan and his band, 440, are beloved throughout the Latin music-loving world and have sold over 70 million records. His many talents include songwriter, composer, and record producer, as well as a best-selling, award-winning singer. Juan's voice is smooth, and he has a multi-octave range with a soulful delivery. This has won many industry awards, including 21 Latin Grammys and 3 Grammys. Guerrero studied at the Universidad Autónoma in Santo Domingo, where his studies included philosophy and literature. Guerrero began to study guitar and music theory at El Conservatorio Nacional de Música in Santo Domingo. He moved on and attended Berklee College of Music in Boston, Massachusetts. He graduated from Berklee College of Music with a jazz composition degree in 1982 and was awarded an honorary doctorate from his alma mater. He has many popular songs including Ojalá que llueve café, Me sobre la bilirrubina, Burbujas de amor, Rosalía, and Cuando me enamoro. He has sang with many famous artists including Enrique Iglesias, Luis Fonsi, and Gilberto Santa Rosa. Juan Luis Guerra has partnered with the Latin Grammy Cultural Foundation and Berklee College of Music to award the Juan Luis Guerra Scholarship to students who have a musical gift and are facing financial hardship. Luis Guerra is still a composer, arranger, and musician. He composes music for feature films, chart-topping podcasts, television, and online media. He is still making music and on his way to even more awards. Let's have a listen to his song, Rosalía.
Ay, Rosalía, pa' que me abrieras la puerta. Ay, Rosalía, pero tu amor es lo que se mira. Ay, Rosalía, y a veces le da sordera. Ay, Rosalía, y yo a parar en un monte allá por la serranía. Y me vestí de naranjo al no tener compañía. Todas las flores compañeros, los grillos y los naranjales. Por más que busco no encuentro, tuvo que los matorrales. Oye, niña, dímelo pronto, Rosalía, dímelo pronto. Tengo un conjunto de arcoíris bajo el arroyo. Voy a sembrarlo de caricias, trigo y verdura.
Hello, my name is Marissa, and I'm going to talk to you a little bit about Chile and art. Chilean artists have made a significant contribution to art despite the country's small population. Much of their artwork is inspired by artists' disapproval of some of their policies that they have over there. Local Indian art is a large part of Chile's cultural heritage. This is a type of art that can be found in their markets, and they're often sold to tourists as souvenirs. This includes jewelry, textiles, and bracelets. These pictures show a couple examples of what Chilean markets might look like. The Avalara is one example of Chilean folk art rooted in their heritage. What an Avalara is bright, colorful pictures that are stitched onto sacking. During the 70s and 80s, they were used to tell stories of oppressed people in Chile during a time when they were under totalitarian rule of General Augusto Pinochet Ugarte. Poor women and women whose husbands, sons, or brothers were killed or imprisoned by the government met each week around crowded tables in one room workshops to share stories of their burdens and stitch arpillaras. The picture in the top right-hand corner shows what an arpillara workshop looked like. Under the dictatorship of Pinochet, the Chilean people often had their human rights violated. Thousands of them were detained, tortured, killed, or disappeared. They were being abducted or taken for questioning, and they would never return. More than 3,000 people vanished. And this in the bottom corner is a picture of Pinochet. The women of Chile found their voice in art. This is an example of an arpillera. In this arpillera, it shows women protesting in front of the Supreme Court. They're asking where their husbands, sons, and children are, and brothers are. In this arpillera, it shows women and children fleeing from political persecution. This is a picture of Violeta Parra. She was a singer, a songwriter, an activist, sculptor, embroiderer, ceramist, but she was most known for her songs. Her lyrics were filled with explicit political criticism. She was a bold, independent, and fearless woman. Though she was mostly known as a singer-songwriter, she was also a painter and textile artist. Her large and bold tapestries tell universal personal stories. Her songs inspired a diverse group of women to create their own arpillaras to pay homage to her. This is one of her pieces. This is an arpillara, and it's entitled Christ in Bikini. She would often do really controversial pieces. And she was the first Latin American artist to have a solo exhibition at the Louvre, which is a huge deal. This is another picture of an arpillara, and so is this one. And here's one more picture. So when I was researching arpillaras, I didn't really find a lot of women who were alive during this time that created the arpillaras. A lot of the pieces were under the name Anonymous, which I thought was pretty sad. It would have been nice to find someone that could talk about what they went through during that time and explain their works, and I would have loved to do a little bit more research on that. But I also thought it was kind of beautiful that their work is still displayed in a lot of different museums and galleries around the world so that their stories can be told over years and years to come. And yeah, these arpillaras, these women that used to create these arpillaras, they eventually began to protest in person. They would dance in the streets and they would form groups, and they eventually inspired generations to come with their work. So that is all I have to talk about with Chilean art, and I hope you enjoyed my presentation.
Hola! Hello! My name is Nadia Garzon, and I am a professor of humanities at Valencia East. I am also a professor of theater. Most of my work focuses on Latin American theater, in particular theater for social change and also decolonization through theater. I am very excited to be here today in this Latin American Symposium, and I thank you for listening to me, to my story, and also to listen to the information that I want to give you about my organization, my theater organization, Decolonizarte Teatro. Well, I am an immigrant. I came from Colombia about 22 years ago. And for the past 20 years, I have been working in performing arts and entertainment as a professional actress, director, and voiceover talent. It was not easy to start my career here in Central Florida, despite the fact that I had already done my first professional play at age 16 in Bogota. It was actually very hard. There were not a lot of opportunities for Latinas. People did not want Latinas that had an accent, and no one was really interested in like diversity. At least that's something that people are looking for today. But anyway, I managed to make it, and I was able to start my career. And like I said, I've been doing this for 20 years. And in the past years, I started to have a really strong desire to have my own theater company. I think I've been wanting that for a very, very long time. But it wasn't until just a few years ago that I noticed that there was more and more support for Latin Americans and for Latin American arts. And so I decided to start Decolonization Teatro. We are on our 3rd year now, and it's very exciting for me to share the work that we do. First of all, we are committed to promoting the Latin American experience, culture, and talent through theater and literary, artistic, and educational programming. And also, we have 2 main goals. The first goal is accessibility to the arts, regardless of income. This is because for the past decades, I have worked with immigrant communities, and I have been an immigrant rights activist. And in my work, I noticed more and more people in our Latin American community that did not have access to the arts. So it's very important to me that everyone can come see art and everyone can have access to the theater regardless of their income. And the second goal of Decolonizarte Teatro is decolonization. And for us at Decolonizarte Teatro, that means going back to your roots, producing and even consuming theater that represents us, where we can see ourselves on the stage, we can see our stories, and we can tell our own stories about ourselves, and we can reframe the narratives about ourselves and our bodies and our culture. When we are not the ones telling our own stories, then people start telling stories that are not true, right? We start having a lot of stereotypes, and perhaps people misunderstand our culture or our countries. So it's very important for me that Decolonizarte Teatro focuses on Latin American theater and Latin American theater in the United States as well as outside the United States in Latin America. So those are the 2 main goals that we have. We produce programming in English as well as in Spanish, sometimes in Spanglish, but we kind of go heavy on the Spanish side because there's not a lot of theater in Spanish in Central Florida. We also sometimes provide subtitles because we understand that many of our Latinos and Latinas today, or Latines today, may not even speak Spanish, and that is okay, right? There are many ways of identifying ourselves, whether it is first generation or whether there is an immigrant. However, the culture stays with us. So for me, it's very important to have Decolonizarte Teatro because we are protecting, we are sharing our culture and protecting our culture, right? We are telling our own stories, not someone else who doesn't really know about our experiences. So I hope that you support us, and you can do so by following us on Instagram or on Facebook. But above all, the invitation that I want to do to all of you today is an invitation of decolonization, descolonización, however you interpret that, to really get connected to your roots, to really go back to your ancestors, and to feel proud of who we are as Latin Americans, and understand that our culture is not inferior, it's just as rich as any other culture. And we have so much in our culture. It's not just Spanish, it's several indigenous languages, it's several art, it's people from different places, and people from Latin America who live around the world. Thanks again for listening to me. I hope you have a wonderful symposium. I hope you have a wonderful time here, and I hope that we meet again.
Hello, I hope you enjoyed the presentations as much as I did. Again, I want to thank you for your time. I want to also thank again Professor Nadia Garzon and all the participants for the hard work and the great experience tonight. I'm going to leave you with one question. Maybe it's a rhetorical question. Questions that make us think. What are other ways we can grow as a very strong, inclusive community? What do you think? What other things you want to learn from each other? How can we just make that gap between cultures disappear? How can we grow as a community? Remember, future events are coming soon. The Day of the Dead is November the 2nd, and you're going to learn a lot about this wonderful celebration. It's going to be virtual, so please pay attention to the announcements. We would love to see you there. Buenas noches y gracias por habernos acompañado. Espero que hayan disfrutado las presentaciones tanto como yo. De nuevo quiero darle las gracias a todos los participantes y en especial a la profesora Garzón. Les dejo con una pregunta. ¿Qué más podemos hacer para unir nuestras comunidades, para que sean en realidad diversas, que aprendamos el uno del otro y que crezcamos más juntos? Gracias y buenas noches.